I wanted to create a story that you could read very differently if you were a believing man or an atheist. Um, the central question, I mean, it's a story filled with characters who are just standing somewhere screaming to the skies and expecting something to happen. And whether there is something that answers their prayers or not is I think left for you to decide. But there's certainly a strong kind of air, I think, of the divine, or the question of whether the divine has a part of this or not. Is this a story about a guy who got tested and failed the test and was punished? Right? Is this some kind of cinematic rendition of the Book of Job? Or is this actually a story about a guy who just keeps looking for meaning and keeps asking for things, but it never gets answered?
Yes?
Is this based on a true story?
Yeah, this happened to you, right? Was it based on a true story?
No.
But
So
what is
it was important that it's something that can happen. So these type of things do happen. We certainly did some research, and we talked to a lot of ophthalmologists who kind of vetted the science of this. So this can happen, and it doesn't necessarily require godly intervention. And it was important for me to have something that could happen in reality, and not just something that's just like a fairy tale land kind of thing, so you can interpret it the way you want to read it. First had the idea for this film sitting in a sound room, finishing the mix on my first film, and the sound wasn't working. And I remember just hearing the sound was working, the image wasn't working. And I remember just hearing sound and saying to myself, wow, this must be how it feels like to be inside the head of a blind man. And I called my writing partner, Sharon Mashihi, and I said, listen, it's a story that starts inside the head of a blind guy, and then something happens and he starts seeing. From there on, we just started writing.
How did that tie into basically power? You were talking a lot about like how people, well, kind of when they get, after like 6 months, they get power, they get a really like that intense happiness, it kind of goes downfall from there.
Sure. So for me, it's not a movie about blindness.
Yeah.
It's a movie about getting a shot. And people get shots at life by winning the lottery, by becoming famous overnight. And what you see usually with those stories is that these lives derail really quickly. So people immediately break up and they go bankrupt and they lose themselves in the chance. The blessing is always a curse.
Yeah.
So you look around you and you see these stories, and this story really is about a person that gets a giant gift but doesn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
It's too much to bear.
I don't know. What did you think about the audience reaction? Were you content with?
It was great. Yeah, it's the right kind of festival.
Yeah.
It's the right kind of vibe. It's why we do these things, you know. These places are exactly why we do movies, you know, because people come here not for the glitz or for the parties, but they come here because they want to watch movies and they want to hang with filmmakers, and filmmakers hang with other filmmakers here, and that's what it really is all about.